So hello everyone, I'm Larissa, an investor at World Fund. I brought with me Dirk, the CEO of our portfolio company Customcells. At World Fund we operate as a European climate tech VC from early stage to growth. We invest in all type of technologies that help to save significant CO2, starting in Europe but then expanding it globally across the highest emitting sectors, which is like food and ag tech, but then everything around energy transition, buildings, industry, but then also mobility. And we do spend a lot of time thinking about where to do a deep dive, where are the biggest bottlenecks, which trends do we see. So we wouldn't necessarily invest in a smart mobility solution in a city, but more like something that is a mega trend and thinking about where we can support it and also how we can help supporting it out of Europe. This is how we came across Customcells and Dirk specifically when we thought about how can we help the trend of electrification with the European technology. So it is my honor to introduce you, Dirk, and I would love to hear a little bit more about your background, but then also what is it that Customcells is doing?
Thanks very much. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dirk. I'm running Customcells since 1.5 years now, but the company is significantly older. What is our core intent and our core product? We are actually developing and manufacturing very innovative battery technology. Our core product are battery cells, and of course, a lot of products which are centered around this. So, of course, a digital product, but also a couple of other attached products. Well, the entire company was founded more than 10 years ago at Fraunhofer Institute. It was a spin-off of Fraunhofer, so it was very much innovative-driven. We were very much after kind of really developing very high-performance cells. We went into lithium-ion technology 10.5 years ago, and I think pretty, self-explaining today, but at that point in time, Fraunhofer Institute believed that lithium-ion was dead. So they gave away the machinery nearly for free, and our founders said, okay, let's get started. That might be a megatrend in some years. And that's how we got started and have been very deep into a very, innovative performant battery cells for a long, long time, and have been especially focusing on automotive industry on the one hand side, but also when electrification gained to become a trend also for aviation, to get into aviation very early. Because you need to get prepared for actually certification reasons and a couple of others. So we saw that technology one by one moved into focus of automotive industry and aviation, but we also serve a couple of other diverse industries next to that as well. But right now we're at the tip where the entire thing becomes an overall trend, where the trend really becomes having impact into society and obviously also into sustainability questions, etc. And that's where we said, okay, let's get our very, very advanced technology into the market, penetrate the market, and contribute to the sustainability movement.
Thank you, Dirk. Maybe let's take a step back together in terms of what is it that makes you special? Why is it not an incumbent winning that game?
Yeah, Customcells is taking a totally different approach. If you look into a battery cell business, then all the very well-known players like Panasonic, Samsung, SDI, but also CATL as the market leader, all these players are giant players. So all of them are really kind of incredibly big and also capex intense. And we're taking a totally different approach. All of these big players, including, by the way, most of the startups like Northvolt and others, all of them are following a very, very simple trend. It is manufacturing battery cell technology, get this stable, keep quality and timing, and finally, especially, to push down costs. So that's the attempt, and finally, economy of scale is the name of the game. You just need to kind of really be big enough. But that comes along with, even if you'd like to get into this, even just the upfront capex invest is something like two-digit billions. You need to just, put on the table just to get into play for a very first factory. And that obviously is far too large, especially for startup companies which have innovative technology. So we're taking a different approach and trying to, first of all, develop technology and put it to smaller customers like Porsche. So we established a joint venture with Porsche, and we're supplying Porsche, and now actually brought up a startup within 1 year, now already size of 250 people, now heading for the first gigawatt factory next year. And we are also supplying smaller customers, advanced customers like Lilium. Lilium, for example, is an air taxi player which requires very, very high performance cells and very long-lasting cells, and also very safe cells. And that's exactly what we have. So we've got a very sweet spot between innovation, very innovative products which are 2, maybe 2.5 generations away from what you can buy on the market today. And on the other hand side, we have this capability to really develop the manufacturing side of that. That's a totally different aspect, actually, in battery business compared to everything else. If you go, for example, into electric circuits and control boards, etc., then designing things is one job, manufacturing it is a different, and that's to a certain degree independent, because lots of players which just can manufacture electronic boards. In battery business, that's completely different. 60% of the entire IP is actually related to the manufacturing. So it's very important if you go into new technologies, say product IP, then you need in parallel to develop this manufacturing IP. And that's exactly what we can do. By doing this, we are now one of these very few players, I would say one of 2 or 3 players in the entire world, which are able to really accelerate players, OEMs, like automotive OEMs, but also aviation players and some maritime players too, to really get into aviation, to get into electrification within 2 or 3 years' time. So what we offer as a competitive edge is, on the one hand side, we've got a very innovative technology, modular kit, so you can choose a couple of different technologies to really be ahead and build an edge for your product. And at the same point in time, we have got a very significant shorter time to market. And I guess for investors, the key differentiator is very, very simple. Our upfront capex you need to invest is a factor of 8 smaller. So we just need to invest a significantly smaller amount upfront, because we start from the premium segment and can earn revenues right at the beginning. And that actually makes the risk significantly smaller, and we can control it significantly better. And the second point in time, we just need to have a significantly smaller upfront capex invest. And last but not least, the overall return of investment is a factor of 2 higher. And that exactly puts us into a certain niche, but the niche is huge. We are still talking about 350 gigawatt hours per year. So it's a kind of a tremendously large niche we are currently working in, and that's a fantastic opportunity for us as a technology-based and technology-focused company to really still grow into a business which is a billion business.
Thank you, Dirk. What I understand from an investor's point of view, when we first looked at it, trucks made sense, like cars made sense, pacemakers made sense. But then when it comes to investment timeline, thinking about e-aviation, I think that was a big one for us to crack. Where do you think is the industry in aviation currently standing?
Yeah, I would like to kind of maybe take 2 different examples because they're completely different. Maybe not from an outside point of view, but if you get into technology, eVTOL, so kind of getting out vertically and then traveling and then coming vertically down, is a totally different technology than if you take a conventional takeoff and landing and just try to convert the propulsion system. Yeah? These are, by the way, completely 2 different battery products as well. They're completely different. And if you ask me where they are, well, eVTOL has been pushed for very many years. And it's kind of at the tip where now we see 3 or 4 players are really getting into certification in US, FAA, but also in Germany, in Europe, EASA. So we see the first prototypes really being built and really being certified. So I guess we will see prototypes flying actually on public available areas. Actually within the next 2-3 years. We're going to see most probably 4 or 5 players really getting this done. And I guess the market penetration will take another 3-4 years to get there.
Got it. And then maybe last but not least, what's next for you?
Well, for us, we are currently about, getting this manufacturing step, which we now have in place for a couple of megawatt hours annual capacity into this gigawatt league, and that is where we're now raising our Series B. So we've got a proven technology, we've got a good connection within Europe, we're establishing good connections to US. We're now heading for the first gigawatt plant, and that's where we're raising our Series B. And yeah, that's actually the next step, getting this funded and getting this executed.
Thank you very much, Dirk.